Hi everyone, this is going to be my long-awaited mini portfolio series tour. I want to do this all summer and I am so excited, but unfortunately my lighting situation, I can't get my lighting to work out for me, so hopefully it's just happening, it's just blowing it out because of the reflective surface. So I figured I would go through, talk about each individual piece a little bit. Whenever I do my sketchbook tour, whenever I finish my sketchbook, you will see all the original sketches and stuff. So hopefully, I think I have about like 50-ish pages left in it, which is a lot considering I am 3/4 the way through it, and I still have 50 pages left. So yeah, that's just a lot of pages. So yep. So I figured we would get started here. Half of these I have speed painted, so you've seen about half of these already, but the other half I kept secret on purpose so people would watch this video and if they were interested enough would want to see all of them. So hopefully you will be pleasantly surprised by the other pieces I've done. So let's get started. So this first piece, I'll just go ahead and take it out of the sleeve since it's kind of reflective. You've all seen this piece. This is one of my very first, well, it wasn't my very first piece, but it was a very early piece of mine that I speed painted. I'll put all the links in the description for all the videos that I made. This one, I don't like to speed paint to it because I was so tired when I was recording the narration that I sounded like a very egotistical, narcissistic person, and I really didn't mean to sound that way. And now that I'm saying this, everyone's gonna go watch it and be like, oh my god, and I feel really bad because a lot of my friends from school watch my videos, and well, now anyway they do, and I am just, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed by this speed paint. Like I've almost taken it down 3 times, but yeah, I was really tired when I recorded it and I sounded like I thought I was the best in the class and I really didn't mean it that way. So yeah, but I was really happy with this one. I'm still really happy with this one. It's one of my favorites. The only part I don't like about it is her hand and the fact that I messed up down here. This was actually supposed to be the bottom part of this mushroom, but I was just in a hurry and I was really nervous to record this. So I was just autopiloting it, and I wish I kind of maybe did something more back here, but overall I'm really happy with it. Yeah, this is pretty much the beginning foundation of my series. Throughout my series, I evolve each piece, and okay, I've tried to explain this before, but now I think is a really good time where you guys can actually see it and I can explain it a little better. So say, she has butterfly wings and there are mushrooms and there's a flower, right? So say in my next one, which I believe you guys have also seen, here's the next spread. These two. We speed painted this one, didn't speed paint that one, so this one is all new for you guys. Oh, and I've also, I guess I should say this too, each piece is sort of, except this one I guess, is based off of a one-word theme. So this one was, if I had to give this one one word, it would probably be fairy, but I called it Fairy in the Garden. This one was butterfly. So as you can see, did a lot of butterfly work, and yeah. I'm actually really proud of this one too. I really like how this area turned out the most. And as you can see, butterfly came through, Twisty Tree is a constant, mushrooms came in, and it sort of evolves through the series, and that's what I was told to do, and I'm really glad I was taught that because I didn't know that before, and it's kind of interesting to see how you can take one thing and just run with it. So yeah, these are all done with Copic marker and multi-liner and white Jelly Roll pen. I haven't added anything else to it. I haven't added a color pencil or anything. Just keeping everything sort of the same. So there's that one. And there's no good way to keep all these in the middle. I moved these because they were all stuck like right here next to each other, so I actually moved them all. This one was dragonfly, so you know, bug. Flower came back from the first one, and then the grass in the back came from that one. So, you know, you'll see as I show you all of these that they all have sort of a evolution chain to them. Like, hopefully by the end of it, I won't have to tell you guys. So, yeah, I really like this one. The main thing I like about this one is the colors I use, because this is when I first started using my hex chart. And I was experimenting with colors that were nowhere near each other, and I really, really like how this one turned out. This and the dragonfly's wings, you can't really... I tried doing some cool stuff with the colorless blender. I'm not really liking how I did the thin lines in the background. I kind of wish I would have started lineless backgrounds a little sooner, but you know, you live and you learn. Next spread, I believe you guys have seen, yeah, you guys have seen both of these. This is Carbonation. Again, links will be in the description to all the speed paints. This one was the very first one I just fell in love with. One, it's all of my favorite colors. And two, it was the first lineless background I had ever really done with Copics, and this is where I really started to branch out, I feel like, with these. And it's called Carbonation. You can't... I have better pictures on the speed paint video, but I did, with my colors blender, added little dots to look like bubbles, like it was, you know, soda was inside it, and it was actually like a clear tree. That was my thought process behind it anyway. So, yeah, this is actually one of the few I'm actually very proud of. And it still has the tag on the back from whenever I had it in a show. So, this one was Daisy. You guys have seen this one also. So, the ones I've done speed paints of, I'm not really going to go too much in depth. You guys can just go watch the speed paints and learn about it there. So, this one, another one I really used my hex chart with. And I was messing with perspective, trying to figure out different angles and stuff. Kinda wish I would have done the sky differently, but that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. So yeah, if you guys have any tips on how to keep these like straight or like, you know, in place, because every time after a while, you know, you're flipping the pages so much, it kind of shifts a little, so. I am actually surprised I didn't record either of these. This one, so far, has been the favorite of all of these. For me and anyone who's seen my whole series, this one is always somehow the favorite. My friend Darby is actually wanted the original, but she said she would settle for a print if I didn't want to give it away, so. This one is probably Gecko. I don't know, honestly, I don't even think I want to call it Gecko. I honestly don't remember what this word was. I think it was like lizard or gecko or something like that, but this is actually a salamander, a gecko, and some sort of, what was it? Lizard? No, it was like 3 different kinds of lizard things that I put into one thing. Like I took the pose from a salamander, the markings from something else, and then the coloring from a gecko or something like that. So I didn't have just one reference picture, and it has, you know, the glowy things because my professor said he really liked that, so I decided to add something else with glow. And I wanted to try a nighttime scene, and actually the colors aren't really picking up very well because of my light, but I'm hoping to get really good pictures of all of these, and I'll include those probably in the end of this video. As you can see throughout mine, I was also trying to have the time of day change throughout. So, you know, maybe like early morning, sunny, you know, twilight / dusk. Well, I guess this would be dusk. And then nighttime. So, you know, that's another thing that changes throughout this that I was sort of conscious of. This one was called Snails. Also was in a show. I'm actually really, really proud of this one. I'm surprised I didn't record this one because this is actually one of my favorites. And, you know, some people say your best works come unexpectedly or like when you're not planning for it. So I obviously wasn't planning to record this. And I think it was because I had done both of these, so I was like, okay, well, I'll keep the next spread separate, you know, secret. So yeah, I had a lot of different compositions for this, and this was just finally the one that happened. My mom actually gave me the idea of 2 trees sort of interacting with each other, so thanks, Mom. And my professor actually said something, you know, have a little snail in the background and have it like change into a rhino or something like that, you know, something weird like that. So I did what he said and put snails, and it's so far the most popular one in my series from my friends and stuff, so really happy with how this one turned out. And this one and Carbonation actually made it into my school's art magazine, so yeah, not too bad. This one I speed painted Arctic. Really, really proud of this one. Another favorite because of the snow. Usually the snow is the first thing people look at. Again, I'm sorry, I'm going to have pictures in the end of the video that will hopefully be somewhat accurate because everything's sort of getting blown out, but yeah, again, a lot of reference pictures sort of smashed into one piece, and I don't know where the stigma is that reference pictures are bad, but use all the freaking reference pictures you want, because no one in, you know, Renaissance days knew how to draw something from, you know, memory, so reference pictures are fine. I really used my white Jelly Roll pen a lot in this one. This is where I started falling in love with it, and I'm really glad that I fell in love with it because it makes just the best highlights. This one, this was when I was starting to feel the pressure of getting 2 done per week. That was my goal. I ended up doing about 1 per week, but this is when I was starting to feel the pressure. I was starting to run out of ideas. I didn't really know what to do. I think this one was called Dawn or something like that I came up with. I really, really like how this water turned out. It's one of my favorite things in this piece. The sky really turned out how I wanted. You know, I could definitely improve on this area. I didn't know. I was starting to have like some sort of block with that, so there's not really much to say about that one. And stripes. We all know this one if you've watched all 3 parts of this video. It was my trilogy series. I did my sketching process, line art process, and coloring process. And you got to see the whole process with this one. So you guys got a super awesome treat with this one. And this one I was experimenting with different tree colors. I've never done that with one of my trees before. So yeah, I went really into depth in this one, so I'm not even gonna go into it since all the information about it is pretty much in all 3 of those videos, which will be linked below. This one I'm surprisingly not really that happy with, but my professor said he really liked it, so yeah, I don't really know. Again, you know, insect to insect, that's kind of where I was going with it, but I didn't really, I don't know. I think I just saw some sort of artwork that had a really cool bee in it, and I was like, hey, I should try putting bees in mine. And it ended up just being like a sort of monochrome, but not picture. So yeah, I'm not really happy with this one. And this was also one I didn't speed paint, so there's no link for this one. I really like how this bee and this one turned out, but the other bees I could live without. Yeah, I just wanted to sort of like incorporate it into something instead of being outside, having it be inside something, and that was sort of where my thought process went to. I wanted things interacting with it, kind of like how my little caterpillar over here was, so this was pretty much an experimental piece. I think the backs always look cool. I don't know why. This one I'm not happy with at all. I did not speed paint this one because I actually did this twice. This is my second attempt at it, and I ended up actually doing this at Austin's college when I went to go visit one weekend, because we both tried so hard to get all of our homework done so that way we could just have fun all weekend, and then the Friday that I left to go up there, we both just got slammed with homework. So that's pretty much what we were doing for most of our weekend together whenever I drove 100 miles to go visit him. So this one was supposed to be anger. And, oh, by the way, this one, I don't know if I remember saying, but see, Dawn, Stripes. I can't remember if it was bees or if it was like honey or honeycomb or something. It was something like that. This one was supposed to be anger, and I had an original sketch that looked sort of like an angry tree going like this sort of, but it didn't really turn out. So I tried making it look, you know, big and tough and powerful and like intimidating, but it just turned out to be a pink fleshy looking thing, and I don't really like it. Not one of my favorites by far, so I'm just not going to say much about it. There wasn't really much thought going into that one. That was another rushed one because I had to get my 1 or 2 done for the week. This is my redemption piece. This is Atlantis. My little take on Atlantis. Honestly, I couldn't stop thinking about the SpongeBob Atlantis SquarePantis episode. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from that. Little fishes. I was messing with some drop, I don't know, what's that called? Drop shadow? Just, you know, shadows on my tree. Really, really liked the colors I went with this. Tried to put some sort of architectural thing in the background. Didn't really do too much, but I wanted to make it look like it was inside a building. You know, some underwater, undersea Atlantis building. So, didn't really add much besides bubbles, but I figured if I would have added anything else, it would have taken away from the tree, and then, yeah. So I just quit while I was ahead, and figured if I wanted to add something else, I could always add it later, so that was that one. And then I can finally add Crystal, my last one that I did last week that you guys saw. And I realized when I was editing it today that I was talking very fast, and that's because this one I actually felt like I had improved. Just from May to July, I feel like I've improved a lot. Just color-wise and drawing-wise, I feel like I've improved a lot. And I have YouTube to thank for that, I think, because it's making me draw more over the summer and not take a whole hiatus of, like, you know, 3 months. So, Crystal is the last one to go in here. Everything here I had done for the class. This is the first one I've done outside of class this summer. I'm really hoping to do more since I have only 3 classes and one of them is online for this next semester. I'm hoping I can add to this, and I don't think I would want to fill this up. Well, I actually think I could with how many I have. But yeah, and then I have my artist statement back here, which I think I may read to you guys just so you guys can see it. Anyway, but this has its new home right here behind Atlantis. So yeah, I guess I will read you my artist statement. You know, this still has its markings or whatever on it, but I figured it was good to keep in the back, just because. In this series of Twisty Trees, they are meant to symbolize what I want for myself, growth and strength. Drawing these trees every day was a way to remind myself to grow as a person and as an artist, but also reminding myself to be strong. These trees also feed my passion for nature and fantasy. Nature has always been a big inspiration for me and my art. It's almost all I ever draw or paint. Fantasy has been in my life since I was very young, and I'm always looking for ways to incorporate it into nature. My Twisty Trees were my first real attempt at that, and I'm still looking for new ways to put them together. When I create my Twisty Tree artworks, I always try to make them as unique as possible, whenever it's the color of the bark, the way they are shaped, or the environment around them. I try to make the trees as outgoing and whimsical as possible so they don't look just like a normal tree, but also have them make sense in a way. I try to pick colors that don't resemble the norm in nature, for example, a pink tree in the middle of a lush green forest. It doesn't make sense, and I love it. I normally use Copic markers with these scenes because it gives us the storybook look I want my viewer to experience. My current work is definitely a lot different than when I first started out. Before, my trees were very similar in size, shape, and position. They weren't very interesting and had no variety of line weight. They were usually the same range of colors as well, since I didn't have very many Copics at the time. Now they range in many different colors, sometimes multicolored, and have plenty of different line weights to go around. I've learned a lot about color, composition, and different techniques while creating my Twisty Trees, and I can't wait to experiment more to see how I can improve the series. In the beginning, I drew these trees because I wanted to grow and become a stronger person. Now I can see that growth reflected in myself as a person and as an artist. Whether it's based on an emotion, part of my personality, or based off an event that happened to me, I try to make each artwork a piece of me. So yeah, there you go. That's the artist's statement to my Twisty Tree series. And of course, I'm not going to be able to get this piece of paper back in. And obviously, as my series grows, I can change this however I want. I'll probably, whenever I do get ink from my printer, I'm going to print a new one of this just so it doesn't have its markings on it. And I guess now I will just start from the beginning and flip through it so you guys can get the full effect of just flipping through it. That is my whole portfolio mini series. Now that you see my whole Twisty Tree thing all in a big portfolio thing, hopefully it makes a little more sense and you guys sort of understand a little more. I'm really proud of this series. This is the only thing I've really ever spent time on. Well, that's a lie. This is the only thing I've ever really dedicated so much time to. For so many years, I've never had something keep my attention art-wise for this many years. I've been doing it since the beginning of my senior year in high school, and I am now technically a junior in college. So this has followed me a really long way, and I can't wait to see how I can improve it. And I hope you guys will be along with some of the ride with me. So thanks so much for watching and giving me your support. Give this video a like if you want to see more Twisty Tree stuff. And I will catch you guys next week. Bye guys!